Brett Baer sits down with Elon Musk and the DOGE boys. It reveals everything. The Republicans are telling you the truth. The Democrats have been lying to you. Welcome to the Doug channel. Watch.
That are at least temporary holds. They're being challenged. Are you surprised at some of the legal efforts and some of the judges that have weighed in? There's about 8 or 10 now of these cases that are at least temporary holds. They're being challenged by the DOJ.
Right.
Are you surprised by that pushback?
Well, it's the D.C. Circuit is notorious for having a very far-left bias. And when you look at the people close to some of these judges, where are they working? Oh, they're working at these NGOs. Oh, they're the ones getting this money. Does that seem like a system that lacks corruption? It sounds like corruption to me.
These are government workers. About 80 to 90% of your government workers are Democrats and therefore corrupt. And their kids are on the payroll taking money from government. And now they're using their judges, their Democrat-appointed D.C. judges, to stop Trump and stop DOGE and try and force them to make the payments that ought not to be paid because they're fraudulent. What kind of fraud? First, let's look at this engineer, a young guy working for DOGE. He's on this show. You tell me, does this guy sound like a criminal to you?
The two improvements that we're trying to make to Social Security are helping people that legitimately get benefits, protecting them from fraud that they experience every day on a routine basis, and also make the experience better. And I'll give you one example is at Social Security, one of the first things we learned is that they get phone calls every day of people trying to change direct deposit information. So when you want to change your bank account, you can call Social Security. We learned 40% of the phone calls that they get are from fraudsters.
40%?
That's right.
That's all your old friends. This is to my elderly people in my audience, for which I know I've got a bunch. That is Social Security. The calls they get are for people that want to change, where their money is deposited. That is from the government to their bank account. Well, people are getting calls, elderly are getting calls. You are getting calls from people pretending to be from Social Security every day. And 40% of the calls that allege to have come from Social Security are fraudulent. That is, they're hackers trying to get you to agree to change where your deposit goes from one part of Social Security into your normal bank account, and then they try and get it rerouted to their fraud bank account in another country. That's probably why a whole lot of Social Security is actually fraud. It's not getting paid to the proper recipients. Democrats think that by DOGE going in and by changing that, they're going, these people are trying to steal your money. DOGE, this kid right here that's trying to stop hackers from taking your Social Security money, they've been lying to us. Of course, they're Democrats and they're left and their media, Jasmine Crockett, Chuck Schumer, Tim Walz, all of them, late night talk shows, all of them are lying to you. They're trying to make you think this kid that's trying to save your Social Security is the bad guy. He's a hero.
Almost half.
Yes, and they steal people's Social Security is what happens. Is they call in, they say, they claim to be a retiree, then they convince the Social Security person on the phone to change where the money's flowing. It actually goes to some fraudster. This is happening all day, every day. And then somebody doesn't receive their Social Security. It's because of all the fraud loopholes in the Social Security system.
So what happens is they go in and they cut that fraudulent Social Security policy. And the Democrats say, they're cutting your Social Security. Never put an X next to a Democrat. Let's get to more of these kids working for DOGE. I've got a couple more fun quotes for you from them. Really smart, good people working for you, wanting to help. And that's why the Democrats are at war with them.
We are cutting the waste and fraud in real time. Our goal is to reduce the waste and fraud by $4 billion a day, every day, 7 days a week. And so far, we are succeeding. We are
$4 billion a day is what they're saving us. That's what they have to do to get to their $1 trillion goal $4 billion a day. And they're doing it so far of waste, fraud, and abuse. Now, remember, Elizabeth Warren and Maxine Waters said Elon Musk is just trying to get that money in his fat cat friend's budget. He's trying to pay off his big tech. You heard Bernie Sanders say it. You heard AOC say it. These people are criminals and they're lying. They're trying to demonize the only people that are really trying to help. Here's another one right here. Let's get to this guy.
You're reviewing contracts before they're approved for funding. What are you finding?
Well, Elon and Steve kind of stole my thunder a little bit, but I actually found that customer service survey contract. I actually have an example of one right here. I could have done this in high school. And I found it.
Is that bad?
I found it on the weekends because under the Biden administration, there was no departmental oversight within the Department of Interior whatsoever. None. We are now reviewing every single contract, every single grant, and when things come to my attention that don't make sense, I'm bringing them to Secretary Burgum, and he's been fantastic. He's a businessman. He's very supportive of DOGE. It's been wonderful.
That's Secretary Doug Burgum is who they bring their findings to. He just said there's no oversight. They blindly pay, your government is blindly paying out checks to anyone that provides an invoice. The money just goes out to them. And they're saying at least half of it is probably fraudulent, guys. We haven't been in on this scam. How come I didn't know about this thing? I could have started a fake department. Here's more. Once again, the Democrats say these guys are the criminals. These DOGE guys that are trying to fix your government and save waste. They're saying these are the rich guys trying to steal your money. What do you think? Listen to this guy.
And it is alarming how the financial operations and financial management is set up today. There is actually really only one bank account that's used to disperse all monies that go out of the federal government.
Time out. One bank account.
It's a big one.
It's a big one.
It's a big one.
It's a big one. A couple weeks ago, it had $800 billion in it, but it's the Treasury General account. So when you hear, some of my colleagues here, what they're talking about in terms of the fraud, you have to ask, well, why is this allowed to happen at a financial level? Well, it's actually quite simple but alarming. The Treasury up until now, and thanks to President Trump, we're fixing this. In fact, there was an executive order that he just signed the other day, which is protecting America's bank account, because it really is the taxpayers' money. One, we're changing the culture. The culture is been not a lot of caring and not a lot of commitment to doing what's right relative to financial operations. There's a $500 billion of fraud every year. There's hundreds of billion dollars of improper payments, and we can't pass an audit. The consolidated financial report is produced by Treasury, and we cannot pass it on. We have material weaknesses. What that means is that if I was a public company CFO, I would effectively be removed. I couldn't file financial statements. I couldn't issue securities,
Never
which of course
pass
we
an
depend
audit?
on. Can't pass an audit.
Right. The federal government cannot pass an audit. It's
Yeah.
impossible. In fact,
The government can't pass an audit. Your government, all this money going through it, cannot possibly pass an audit. That is, you can't look and even do any oversight. That's its calcified, corrupt system of government. We can't protect this anymore. You can't allow Democrats to protect this anymore. Thank the Lord that Trump's in charge, because guys, we're getting in control of it. They're turning it around thanks to DOGE. These largely unpaid, low-paid, working all day, all night guys.
in order to pass an audit, you need the information necessary to pass an audit. You need to have the payment codes, you need to have the payment explanation, and you need to have a person you can contact to understand why that payment was made. None of those things were mandatory until just recently, just a few weeks ago. In fact, maybe last week?
Yeah, we're serving 580 plus agencies. And up until very recently, effectively they could say make the payment and Treasury just sent it out as fast as possible. No verification. And so what we're doing is what any household would do. But imagine you're a household, you have a bank account, everyone has an ATM card connected to that account, everyone has a checkbook connected to that account. It's not just your children, it's not just your parents, it's your in-laws, it's your extended family, and they all can go to the account and disperse funds. No questions asked, no justification, no verification.
We're putting this show out for the same reason that Elon Musk did this interview. Thank God he went on Fox News. and just wants to get their story out because the media, MSNBC and CNN, have been lying to you so hard about DOGE. These good guys, they're hilariously evil. They're like a cartoon villain. We're going to get to McCarthy on DOGE in just a second because he actually has the real scoop on this whole thing, on what they're doing. This is costing Elon Musk billions of dollars worth of business, by the way, just for agreeing to do this. But here's this is from Secretary Doug Burgum. Tyler and the Interior at DOGE team work tirelessly every day, including weekends, to save taxpayer dollars and help balance the federal budget so we can pay down the national debt. They're individually reviewing 36,000 Interior grants and contracts and have identified massive amounts of waste, fraud, and abuse already. Tyler talked about this common sense effort of government efficiency last night.
Every hardworking taxpayer sit back and say, I have somebody working for me. If you wanted to go out and get this work done, we would pay billions of dollars. Here's the brightest minds, not just in America, in the world, volunteering, sacrificing, and he's getting attacked. I mean, terrorist attacks against his companies because he's fighting for the individual. That's what's so amazing to me. The more he does.
Did you hear that Las Vegas Tesla terrorist that they nabbed, the federal charges? He's like a member of the Communist Party. They're not like every left-wing, progressive, out-of-control group he's a member of.
We knew he was a communist and a terrorist and a member of every left-wing party when we found out that he was blowing up Tesla cars at dealerships, when he was radically setting fire to them. That's normal for them.
Of course.
Attacking electric cars.
Yeah.
They make no sense.
So these individuals who volunteered their time are burrowing in, and what they're really finding out, Kevin, is that these government systems, which even back in the 80s I saw were completely outdated, are not only outdated, they're kind of dangerous in a way because they make us vulnerable.
These are systems when the computer first started. We're modernizing it so you can catch, so you have accountability in government. Everything everybody says they want in their government, they're providing it. And it's going to save tremendous amount of money, one, for the taxpayer. It's going to provide greater service to the constituents. This is what people crave to be able to make happen.
The computers, by the way, were programmed with COBOL, a language that came out that was like used in the 60s. Calcified, old, the systems can't talk to each other. And you have a bunch of tech guys looking there going, they're horrified. They're going, what in the world are you running this government on? Like Kevin McCarthy said, Elon Musk is only being attacked for doing what's good. Sometimes that happens, guys. Do what's good even when you're attacked. I'm Doug.